beyond pleasure into sensation. Huxley.
Welcome to Charlie's Adventures with Huxley, a radically designed, sensation-led pleasure toy company that brings you a fictional tale of lust every week. Follow along as Charlie explores herself and our Huxley toys. Episode 3, Exploration. Charlie had felt that she was drowning in his kiss. The breath didn't matter as she licked his lips, tasting the bourbon on his tongue. She wanted to climb up his tall frame and pull his clothes off his hard body. Instead, Alex pulled back and stared down at her. It was the first time all night that he looked flustered. His eyes were blown out, his lips puffy from the kiss. "God, you're so sexy, Charlie," he growled. "So why did you stop kissing me?" she demanded. "Needy much?" he replied, before grabbing the backs of her thighs, picking her up and throwing her down across her bed. He looked at her once more before he resumed kissing her lips, burrowing himself into the nook of her neck. "I know in the books I'd rip your dress and underwear off, but I get the feeling you quite like this little number," he stated. "Yes," she huffed out a laugh. "Don't you dare rip a single item of clothing. The zip is on the back." Without further instruction, Alex flipped her over and undid the zip in a flurry, before turning her over and exposing her breast to him. "I'm going to devour you, Charlie," Alex said before he proceeded to do just that. Kissing, nipping and biting his way down to her core. It was as he promised it would be at the bar. He feasted on her like she was his last meal. Charlie had never known pleasure like this with someone else. It was overwhelming. She wanted it to stop, unsure she could take a minute longer of him consuming her before she peeked over into wave upon wave of pleasure. She lay naked before him as she came down off her high, feeling satiated but suddenly confused. Charlie opened her eyes to see him lying between her legs, fully clothed, his eyes seeking something from her. Charlie muttered some words such as wow, incredible, insane, as much to herself as him as she allowed herself to adjust to being back in the room. Eventually, when she felt able, Charlie sat up, wrapping the duvet around her body. "Why aren't you getting naked?" she asked. "Tonight isn't about me," he replied. "I told you what I wanted." Alex proceeded to kick off his shoes. How did he even still have them on, Charlie thought, and scooted next to her on the bed. "Don't get me wrong," he said. "That was the hottest thing ever, but I want to take it slow with you." "Why?" Charlie didn't like the feeling of uncertainty this was creating in her. She didn't feel awkward being naked. She felt comfortable and desired, but she didn't understand why he wasn't naked and inside her. "Because with you, Charlie, I'm enjoying fantasizing about you. I want to get to know you, what you like, what you want, on a physical level. For me, pleasure is about giving, so when I finally take, I know there's no part of your body I haven't treasured." Charlie was taken aback. "So you don't want to get off?" she asked, the duvet keeping her naked body warm, draped across her as Alex reached in and put his hand on her stomach. He drew circles with his fingers across her skin, making her shiver with lust all over again. Moving lower, he teased her, his fingers skimming across her hip bones back and forth. "Oh, Charlie, I do and I will. I should be upfront with you. I'm what you'd call a pleasure dom. My greatest sexual pleasure is giving you mind-blowing orgasms, if you'd let me. Don't get me wrong, I'm going to fuck you senseless too, but the point of intimacy and sex for me is more about your pleasure." As he said this, he continued to tease her body with his feather-like brushstrokes, the feel of his calluses rubbing across her skin. Charlie wasn't sure what to think. She had met this man twice, ridiculously hot, apparently quite successful, so far incredibly respectful, and the energy between them burned bright. And he's also lying here, turning her on again whilst telling her that his greatest pleasure would be her pleasure, that he wanted to make her orgasm again and again without taking for himself, if she'd let him. Charlie started laughing aloud. Maybe it was the martinis, but this situation sounded way too good to be true. "You are joking me," laughed Charlie. "Is this some sort of prank? You, the hottest guy I've ever been with, you just want to make me come over and over? Like, seriously, what's the catch here?" "Does me running my hands all over you feel like some kind of prank, Charlie?" Alex replied before turning his face down to hers, gently leaning down to kiss her again. "There is no catch.
This is my thing and I can prove it to you over and over if you want. You'll just have to be honest with me about what you like and you don't like, because I intend on exploring every single inch of you. Definitely still drunk, Charlie just laughed and kissed him back before turning into his neck. Well, okay then. When Charlie woke up the next morning, Alex was gone. He'd had to dash off early for a lunch with his parents out of town, and if Charlie were honest with herself, it was a relief. She wanted time to stretch in bed and sink into the memories of the evening, not to have to quickly organise some cute day involving coffee and a flower market. She was hungover and wanted to watch TV, organise to see a friend, and have a long shower. That was Charlie's idea of a good Sunday. It wasn't until early evening that she walked out of the flat to go and see Amy at the local pub. Amy smiled as soon as she walked in. Utterly stunning and wickedly fun. She had met Amy through mutual friends and they had instantly clicked over their love of smutty books, coffee shops, and Amy's perplexed amusement over Charlie's obsession with any and all sports. Amy was also the first overtly sexual person she had met, bringing a litany of dates to parties and events, both men and women. The one thing these people seemed to have in common was their good looks and clear obsession with Amy, who seemed bemused by the attention and keen to shake it off before anyone got too clingy, which happened regularly. Charlie loved her for it, secretly jealous at how liberating Amy's love life looked. "So, tell me everything," Amy purred. "Yeah, great," replied Charlie. "He's a pleasure dom or something like that." Amy's eyebrows shot into her hairline. "You what?" "A pleasure dom," Charlie reiterated. "Do you need me to spell it out for you?" "Please," said Amy. "I know exactly what a pleasure dom is. I was in no way expecting that to be the first thing that came out of your mouth. You went on a date, for God's sake, and now you're what, getting endless orgasms? You're going to have to start right at the beginning." So Charlie did. She told Amy about their long conversations at the bar, how when they connected, she was deeply turned on just by being with him, the great chemistry. She then began to detail what happened when they got back to her flat, how she'd essentially jumped his bones as he made good on the promise to, and she used quotation marks here, eat her, before he then explained why they weren't having sex. Amy just sat there, the look of surprise on her face clearly becoming more of a challenge for her to hide. By the time Charlie finished the story, all Amy could say was, "Well, aren't you a lucky, lucky lady?" "Seriously hot man, yes. Insta-stalked him. Who wants your pleasure? I'm just so jealous." Charlie just grinned at Amy. It was the exact response she was after, having spent the day mulling it over in her head. Every relationship she'd had before, the intimacy with the other person had been more perfunctory. She'd felt passion and lust before, but there'd never been a kink or an express wish from a partner. She'd not had to work around certain desires or wants. It had all been much more straightforward. Was Alex being straightforward in telling her up front what he preferred? She was unsure if his desire to bring her pleasure would unlock something else, something she wasn't prepared to get involved in, or if she was just being cynical because she was scared of the unknown, a trait that she disliked about herself. She knew she wanted Alex. She knew she deserved some fun, and she knew with certainty that she wasn't looking for some blissed-out happy ending where she ran off into a sunset with him. She wanted good sex. Amy was the confidence boost she needed. Reaching into her bag, she pulled out her phone whilst Amy continued to wax lyrical about how great this whole thing was. "What are you doing?" Amy said as she saw Charlie's concentration dip to her phone. "I'm texting him," explained Charlie, giggling. "I'm going to ask him when he wants to come over and start giving me all this promised pleasure." Amy cackled in delight. "This is so delicious, Charlie. He's going to want to do all manner of things to you, probably torture you with pleasure. Oh, and this is going to give our catch-up so much juicy gossip. I'm going to want blow-by-blow, excuse the phrase, accounts of everything." "God, Amy, there are some things you don't share between friends," replied Charlie. "But I will tell you that I spent some time on that sex toy website, Huxley, this morning, and I was thinking of getting some things from my bedside table that I might accidentally let him find. They've got a thing called Thunder and Lightning, which gives you some sort of pleasurable shock. I'm intrigued." Charlie had seen the way Alex's eyes had lit up when he'd seen her flick toy last night and had instantly realised that these were all delightful instruments that he could use in bringing her pleasure, promising more fun ways for him to explore her body. "Oh, you're going to get so kinky, Charlie," laughed Amy, before their eyes whipped to Charlie's phone, left upturned on the table between them. A text was sat on the screen under the name of Alex. Peering closer, Charlie could make out his words. "Let me come and see you tonight. I need to watch you come."
If you enjoyed this episode, why not subscribe, share, and follow the Huxley soundtrack on Spotify?